Okay, this is Matt Mrozik, aka MVM397, with a little update on the 172nd Sinanju. So I had to take a little break from this project. Life happened and I got real busy with work, and the past few weekends we had birthdays and stuff, and took a little break just to snap some kits together. I snapped together the that 135th unicorn bust, and I snapped together that Providence kit I got, and that was just something just to kind of break up working on this big project. I have to do that every once in a while, just kind of give myself a breather. But I wanted to give an update on the reverse wash on this kit. So I did a video on how to do that and everything, and I just want to give an update and a suggestion and what not to do. So I had sprayed all, the gold and everything, and I went and sprayed all my flat enamel, and then I got sidetracked, and the enamel actually sat on some of these pieces. Hold on, let me clean off my lens. Sorry, the enamel ended up sitting on some of these pieces for like a week or two, and it wouldn't come off. So word to the wise, don't let your enamel paint dry too long. Don't let it cure, I guess is the key. So like these leg pieces are all done. These got masked off. I sprayed them the same day. I let the enamel dry for like half an hour, and then I wiped it off, and then those look really good. So like this leg piece right here, except for doing some detail painting, is done. And it looks really sharp. And I'm not worrying about it back there because you're not going to see it, but that's what that piece looks like, and that's the final finish of the kit. He requested a semi-matte instead of a flat or gloss, so it looks good. It's a nice sheen. I like that. And then, oops. Hopefully you guys could have heard me because I had a microphone on, but it wasn't clipped to my shirt. So. And I also sprayed all the yellow thruster parts, and these have been clear coated, and these are going to stay glossy. But then these will go. I need to do the the panel lining inside to bring out that. But once these get put in place, like, does it go like this? It goes like this. It's going to be a real nice color combination with that shiny thruster and that kind of semi-matte finish. So back to the reverse wash. Like I said, I let the enamel dry too long, and I was trying to clean these pieces up, and I couldn't get it off. So I ended up having to strip everything except for the legs and starting over on my reverse wash process. So I had to reprime, re-gloss coat with black, redo the gold, re-gloss coat the gold, and then I just, like 30 minutes ago, sprayed this with flat enamel black. So now I'm going to go through and clean this off because it's dried for about 30 minutes. The ideal is you don't want to let it dry too long, because the longest I'd probably wait is overnight. I've waited overnight and it's come off okay, but definitely don't wait as long as I did previously, because it was not coming off, and it was very frustrating. So back to cleaning off the flat enamel. So these have been stripped and re-gloss coated and everything. Gold was reapplied, and I just sprayed these with the flat black about 30 minutes ago. And now I'm using the lighter fluid to wipe away the enamel. And this should come off really, really easy because, like I said, I just sprayed this about 30 minutes ago. So, and I did find a trick when doing these that worked really good on the legs. And I'll show you that here in just a second. I'm just going to clean up these outside edges first because those are easy. I don't have to be too careful about what I do. And also talk about how you touch this up if you kind of mess up a little bit. So I had to do a little bit on the legs. Okay, so what I found out with these, because these are nice, thick, and really deep trim pieces, what I found out is if I took a Q-tip, just a regular Q-tip like this, and I tightened up the weave, I rotated in my hand, just tightened up the cotton so it's a nice tight weave, because these aren't, oops, that one came apart. It's not like a hobby Q-tip, it's a looser weave. And then I'm just going to dip it in my Zippo lighter fluid, and this is Zippo, doesn't matter what kind you use. And I found if I just kind of go to the top, and I just push slightly, it kind of wraps around that trim just enough, and it gets down just deep enough without wiping off the background. So it worked pretty good. I have to be careful because, like I said, the legs I think they had dried overnight. These I just sprayed, so this is going to be really susceptible to any thinner. But you can see how easy that's coming off now. I was really upset when I went to go try to clean these up. It was like a week ago. I'm like, oh shit, the enamel's cured too much, it's not coming off. So I tried my hardest, man. It was just quicker to strip and start over. So sometimes you got to do stuff like that. But now I'm gonna push this down, and I'm just gonna try to get that Q-tip right till it gets down to the bottom edge there, so it wraps around that detail. Because I want to get, I want to clean up as close to the bottom as I can there, if that makes sense. That's pretty good. Hopefully this is in focus. Some more light on it. The camera tends to want to focus on the background quite a bit. Let's see. There we go. Again, I got a slightly damp Q-tip here, and I'm just kind of pushing it down. I don't want to rub too much because you can go through your clear coat, even though they're supposedly incompatible paints, but you're dealing with a solvent. I'm just going to do that, and that looks pretty good. And I decided just to go ahead and paint this all with that same semi-matte, and it actually looks really good. The gold still has a nice sheen to it, the black, and it just looks good. It kind of ties it all together, I think. So I'll just clean up this one piece, because again, this is it's the same process over and over again for everything. But since I just sprayed these like 30 minutes ago, this should be relatively easy to clean up. Just go slow and take your time, because, I'll probably end up doing this, but sometimes you take up too much paint, you'll end up hitting the background, where you want the black to stay, and you'll end up taking off too much. And if you do that, you can just go back with your flat enamel black and touch it up. Or what I've been doing is I've been using my India ink pens and touching it up, since I'm spraying it with the semi-matte. And once you put your top coat on there, it all blends together, and you can't tell that you use an India ink pen. It ties it all together. And this is cleaning up very nicely. So I just have to make sure I clean these pieces up today, because I don't want this to sit, again, and have to start over. But it's coming off really good. So right there, I actually pushed a little too hard. I didn't take any paint up, but I did get some thinner on the background where I don't want to take the paint up. So if that happens, just step away from that area and let it dry, because that lighter fluid will soften the paint, and then it'll be easy to take up and you don't want to take it up. So I just work a little section at a time, and if it's not want to come off right away, just kind of step away from that area, because that thinner will soften the paint, and you can come back to it. Because you don't want to rub over and over in the same area, because you will go through your gold eventually, or whatever color you're using. Just let the thinner do the work, or your lighter fluid, and just take your time. Hopefully this is showing up in camera. I was using the hobby Q-tips with the tips, but those were actually more difficult because I can't, the weave is so tight on those, I can't get as many swipes with the Q-tip before it's dirty, and I have to switch Q-tips. I can use the regular ones a little bit longer before they're full of paint, and I have to switch it out. But you will go through a ton of Q-tips doing this process. But this is, to me, the cleanest way I've found to do this. After I stripped these pieces, I tried masking a few, and it just was not, it didn't look good. My masking wasn't up to snuff. it was taking much longer to mask it and touch it up than it was to doing this. So I went back to the reverse wash technique. A lot of guys have suggested I used liquid mask. I've used liquid mask in the past. I absolutely hate it. The only time I've used it was when I did my Fooly Cooly commission, and I did it on the hands, and it took forever. You have to put it on, you have to let it dry, you have to make sure that the surface you put it on is extremely glossy or it will not come off. I found it really, really frustrating to use, so I've never used it since. It's like anything else. It's what works for you. Some guys swear by that stuff, and it works for them. It doesn't work for me. I find this much easier. So I'm going to go back here and just try to get down in that pan a little bit more. It's looking good. I really like this gold. This is a really pretty gold. It's got a nice kind of red undertone. It's that rose gold from Mr. Color GX. It's got a nice kind of, it's really warm. It's got a little red undertone to it. It's not so yellow. Yeah, this is coming off nicely. Let's see how long we go now. So 11 minutes. I talked for a little bit, but you can see that this is a slow process. As with anything else, and I say this over and over again, probably people sick of me saying this, not too difficult, just time consuming. Just take your time, you know, and you're not in a hurry. My friend Lincoln Wright did an awesome interview with Zaku Aurelius the other day, and he was talking about the difference between professional modelers and amateur modelers. And I guess some people would call me a professional. I do not do that. And he's like, the difference between, this is from Lincoln Wright, the difference between a professional modeler and an amateur modeler or a hobbyist is that a hobbyist / amateur has all the time in the world to get their project done, which in a lot of cases is true. As a professional modeler, you're working for someone and you have deadlines. He was saying that he did a lot of stuff for the Machine & Krieger line of kits through Wave and Hobby Japan magazine, and a lot of times he would get a kit without instructions on, like, let's say on a Tuesday, and they would need a finished painted kit by Wednesday to photograph for the magazine. That's a professional modeler. That's someone who's like, okay, you have this kit to do, you have less than 24 hours to do it, there's no instructions, and we have to take photographs of this for a magazine article tomorrow. That's a professional modeler. That's someone who's working under strict, tight deadlines, a lot of stress, and you have to figure out ways to cut corners where you can to get the necessary work done in the necessary amount of time. So I've been called a professional several times, and I always try to correct people on that because I don't make a living doing this. And I get as much time as I need to do them. So it's not my profession. I don't know if I could do it professionally. I don't think I could do it like under those type of situations. I would lose my mind. It wouldn't be fun to me. It wouldn't be enjoyable. Part of what makes this fun for me is I can come up in my work area, you know, on days where we have nothing going on, and I can do it. I can put 12 hours in a day. Or like today where I have a lot going on, but I do need to get a little bit of work done, I can come up and I can work for an hour or two and get something done. I just need to, I need to get a couple hours in on this weekend because I need to kind of get started back up. I need to get I can't think of the word, not inspiration, but You know, sometimes you get in a rut where you just kind of don't feel like doing anything. But so sometimes you gotta just kind of start working on something to kind of reignite the desire. I guess that's a good way to say it. I need to get back up here. I need to clean my work area up. It was getting messy. Once my work area gets really messy, I kind of get unmotivated to do anything up here because it drives me nuts when it's not clean or not organized. At least it's never really clean. All right, so we're almost done with the outside edge. It's looking good. I think we're pretty good. Looks like I've gotten down pretty good around that edge. And when I say down around that edge, this is a thick panel. It goes, you know, it's pretty deep. So I've got a lot of distance between the background and the top of this panel. So I'm trying to get down as close to that background as I can without removing paint, because I want it to be real nice and, you know, I want this gold to really stand out. So this is where the thicker Q-tip actually works really well, because I can kind of wrap it around that detail, the trim, and get it down closer. Come at it from this angle a little bit. And right there I can see where I need to get down a little bit further. I'm rubbing a little bit, but I'm not rubbing a whole lot. I'm just trying to work that lighter fluid into the paint. And you can see I dab my Q-tip every time I pick lighter fluid up. You don't want this Q-tip soaked. You gotta have enough on there to soften the paint, but if it's soaked, it'll run over everything, and then it'll soften paint that you don't want softened up. You can't see that in camera, sorry. Thinking about getting a GoPro so I can do time lapse. My buddy Jason Eaton, who does killer Star Wars stuff and does stuff for Sideshow collectibles, and just if you built Star Wars, you need to check him out. He just got a GoPro so he can do time lapse. So I'm wondering if I should do that so I can just kind of set it up for, you know, I have a 12-hour day and I can condense that video into a 30-minute video. So I'm just going back around this edge one more time just to see if I got a consistent line around it. I don't want it wavy, I want it nice and sharp. Sorry I'm away from camera, but this is the angle I need to use to come. I'm using this light and the reflection of the light off the gold to see where I need to remove the black paint. But I think we're pretty good. Okay. So that's the outside edge. So that took 15 minutes to do. Okay, so now here, where are my hobby Q-tips? I just had them. What did I do with them? Oh, they're right here. They're in front of me. So now this is where I'm going to take one of these hobby Q-tips to the point, and we're having a hard time getting that Q-tip right down into this little nook right here. So that's where I'm going to use to clean that up. That's my house phone. I'm not going to answer it. Oh, maybe I should. It's my mother-in-law. We'll let it ring. So this is where I'll get this tip and get down in these little corners I can't get with the big Q-tip. You can see I just put a little bit of fluid in here at a time because it evaporates very quickly. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with that. That looks good. All right, so now we're going to start cleaning the inner side, the inside emblem. And this will take a while, just because there's a lot of it. There's a lot to take off. A lot of edges. So basically, I'll go through pretty quick and just kind of do an initial pass. And I'll probably just work one side at a time. And this Q-tip will fill up pretty quick with paint because there's a lot on there. I actually do put quite a bit of this flat enamel on there because I want to have enough thickness on the background to where if I do get some thinner on it, it doesn't go through immediately. So, which just means it takes a little bit longer to clean up. Again, this is a messy process. Okay, now here, I'm going to show you something. I have to go through and touch up because I just went through my gold a little bit. Right here. I went through a little bit, so I'm going to go back. And what I'll do is I'll actually mask this area off and I'll just spray a little bit on there. So, see? I'll have to go back and touch it up. It's always touch-ups. I must have been a little too aggressive right there. You gotta be careful. So I'm going to keep doing this, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, so I'm back. So, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes later, I got this piece all cleaned up, got all the black wiped off, and I've got two little spots I got to touch up on the gold. I mentioned it earlier when I was doing this, but I went through a little bit, teeny tiny bit right here. I'm not sure if you can see it, and I went through a little bit right there. I'm going to try to brush touch it, because I'm going to go ahead and top coat this with the semi-matte top coat that I'm using, which will blend it all in. If it doesn't touch up with a brush, I'll just have to do a little teeny tiny bit of masking and just spray it real light with an airbrush. Sometimes gold doesn't touch up real good with a brush because it doesn't. The thing about metallics is that depending on how you spray it, depending on how you spray it depends on how the metallic particles lay down. So I may or may have to spray that. I'll be right back. Hold on. This is the most cut up video ever. My phone keeps ringing, and I'm recording on my phone. Anyway, this has all been cleaned up. I'm gonna have to brush touch those or spray it. As I was saying before, depending on your metallics, depending on how you spray it, will depend on how metallic particles lay down, which sometimes makes brush touching not possible. But we'll see what it looks like. But other than that, it looks really good. And when I top coat, it look awesome. I'm also gonna show you real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and glue on this piece real quick. This was obviously all done, and I'm going to glue this on to the chest real quick, but I wanted to show you that, excuse me, that I went ahead and I scraped off paint and the primer, and what you're seeing there, this pink is actually the bare resin. That's what the bare resin looked like before I started. So you have to have, really to get a good bond, you have to have bare resin to bare resin, and I did the same thing on the back. And with all those hatch marks, I should get a really good bond. And I'm just going to use a little bit of CA to do that. I've scratched this up. I'm going to blow it off with some canned air to get all the loose stuff off. And a good rule of thumb is when you're gluing parts, don't put glue on the piece that you're putting on. In other words, I wouldn't put glue on this piece and then put it on there, because if I dropped it or something slipped, I'd get glue everywhere. It's a good idea to always put the glue on the piece that you're gluing to. If I can get this cap off, if that makes sense. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue here on this piece, and I don't want to put a lot because I don't want it oozing out. And my tip is clogged, so let me get that unclogged real quick. Maybe, come on. So one thing I hate about CA is the tips always get clogged, and I have some brass rod I can use to unclog this real quick. 1 second, guys. Come on. There we go. All right. Maybe, come on. Ugh. Let's see, I may have another tip over here somewhere. Actually, I've got some other glue I can use. Let's see, is this thick? I don't want thin because it'll get everywhere. So I like thick and extra thick. There we go. So we're going to put a little bit on here. Don't want too much. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to glue and it's not cooperating with me whatsoever. There we go. I'm just going to put some on my paper towel here. That's really thick. And I'm going to get a little bit. So I got some on my paper towel over here. Get some on there. It's like a gel consistency because it's actually really thick right now. So I'm putting some glue on here. Actually, that's probably too much. I do not want this to ooze out. So I'll take some of it off. And this will soften the paint a little bit too that's on there, but ideally you really want bare resin to bare resin. So we're just going to put this on here. I gotta do this quickly because I actually have to go here in just a second. If I can do this without messing up. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray some activator on the piece that I'm putting on here, and hopefully that'll kick this glue off pretty quick and it'll adhere really nicely. So I'm putting it on all these areas that I've got, you know, where I scraped it up. Alright, let's see what this does. Now I'm going to put a little kicker on the back side of this. Like that. And kicker won't hurt your paint. Believe it or not. And we're going to set this in here. Like that. And we're going to hold these sides down. And hopefully that kicker, get that to set up pretty quickly. I'm just going to hold it there for 30 seconds or so. I don't see any glue squeezing out, which is good. Just going to let that sit there for a little while. And then I'll go ahead and, once this is done, I'll do any touch-ups and I'll do one more coat of the top coat on this. We're just going to hold that for a little while. This glue I'm using now is actually a little bit old. It's pretty thick, so I want to make sure I let this activate before I let go. That side seems pretty good. This crest piece has a little spring back to it, so I want to make sure that's nice and seated. But I think we're good. Seems like it's on there good. And that shouldn't come off ever. but there it is. So slowly we're getting an idea what this is going to look like, and then this will go in there like that. So, and I got little pins in here because the battery compartment's under here, under the chest, so that will have to be removable. But pretty much that's what the chest looks like. Pretty sharp. So that's it for this update on the Sinanju. Next time, maybe I'll show you some detail painting on the frame next. But as always, thanks for watching. It's Matt Mrozik, aka MVM397. Sorry for the long video. See you guys.